maybe we'll get back to it. So, what does the Bible say? That's first. What does the Constitution allow? What does freedom demand? What does freedom require? One more thing, and we'll circle the field. What does justice demand? What does justice demand? The primary purpose of government, we just stated, is to enact justice, to protect its citizens, and to punish those who commit evil, reward those who do good. The administration of justice has to conform to biblical principles and constitutional law. Now, our laws were established primarily, the primary laws we had, the Constitution, as I already mentioned, was established by the Word of God. Where do you think we got the law for murder, against murder? It came from the Bible. Where do we get the law against stealing? It came from the Bible. So, those laws primarily come from the Word of God. And again, to use the Second Amendment as an example, the undermining of the Second Amendment or other rights by legislative action or by judicial activism violates the very concept of enacting justice and fulfilling the primary purpose of government and constitutional law. Now, what are you saying, Pastor Mike? I'm saying this. We've got a lot of activist judges now who are circumventing the Constitution and who are not just ruling on law. Son, please sit down. Who are not just ruling on law, but they're actually making law. Let me back up some major cases so that we'll understand. Roe v. Wade. When the Supreme Court justices of this country back in 1973, when they passed on Roe v. Wade, when they said that when they made it a legality, what constitutional right did they have to make it a legality? They had none. Because the Supreme Court, constitutionally speaking, cannot make law. All they can do is interpret law. That's what they're supposed to do, is interpret the law. They can't make law. But when they passed Roe v. Wade, they made law. Back in June 2015, June 26, 2015, I will never forget it. We were on vacation the day before my birthday. And the Supreme Court then said that we find that gay marriage should be legal and acceptable. And so everybody said, well, it's the law of the land now. It's the law of the land. It is not the law of the land. They had no right to even make law. First of all, the Constitution doesn't even cover gay marriage. It doesn't cover marriage. And it's for time and eternity, it has always been for thousands of years, one man and one woman. That's the marriage that's been recognized by God and by most state governments and national governments. So when the Supreme Court comes along and they say, well, we find that should be legal, they made law. And they made a law that didn't exist anywhere in the Constitution. Therefore, I'm here to tell you, constitutionally and certainly biblically, but constitutionally even, gay marriage is still illegal. Homosexuality is still illegal. I don't hate gays. I don't hate homosexuals. They just need to get saved and get delivered and get set free. But people nowadays want you to accept everything, and they want to try to force you to accept. Boy, I could really get bogged down there. I got to move on. So we've had presidents circumvent the Constitution. It's become such a habit now till a lot of people who don't even pay attention to it. Well, the president said he enacted this law. The president can't make law. Not constitutionally. Only Congress has the right to establish and make law. Only Congress. But we don't have people in Congress that most of them don't have the backbone to stand up and say that's the case. Most of them don't have the courage to stand up and say, and I doubt that many of them even know the Constitution. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I'm not a constitutional expert, but I've taken Constitution 101. I have a copy of the Constitution. on my phone, on my tablet. I have a physical copy of the Constitution in several of my portfolios. All those things. I have it for ready reference. I referred to it this week. A couple times the first part of this week I referred to it. I can read. I am educated enough to read. And most things I can comprehend. And if I'm reading something I can't comprehend, I got a Constitution copy that's got the Constitution, and then it's got the correct interpretation that came from the Ted Cruz campaign. So if you want to know what the Constitution says, you can readily get a copy anywhere you want to, and you can get something to help you interpret it. If you need something to help you interpret it, you don't have to be a constitutional lawyer to read and use common sense. Amen. I'm getting way off the beaten path. I didn't even mean to go into all that. But it's just the truth.